Welcome back to the second installment of Dunham Trust Company series as we continue to navigate the impact of California's change in the tax law and its effect on Nevada incomplete gift non-grantor trusts. In this video, Jeffrey Dunham, founder and CEO of Dunham and Associates, and Ann Rosevear, the president of Dunham Trust Company, will delve deep into its implications, the prevalent thoughts among experts, and the proactive steps to take in light of these changes. Here are Jeffrey and Ann.
As we dive into this a little bit and dissect it, our goal here is to provide the current thinking from the professionals that we respect, because many CPAs, many tax lawyers, many financial advisors have differing views on this and they are learning themselves. And I think you'll find that most professionals will go directly to, I want to understand the facts and circumstances on this specific client and this specific case and what options and preferences this specific client has. And so I think you're going to get that, financial advisors, when this comes up. So I think my advice, our advice, is to embrace the concept of getting the estate planning lawyer and the CPA and yourself maybe in a pre-meeting before the client shows up, so that you can think about how and get a perspective on the differences of opinions that might exist, because there's not going to be one answer to this.
No.
And after you collectively think through it, because you each have a perspective of what Mrs. Jones or Mr. Smith, what their preferences might be, because you each have different interactions with them, then you collectively come up with 2 or 3 different ideas that might be then jointly presented to the client for decision making. And there's a big difference with what you just described so eloquently, now that this law has passed, in the case where the event has occurred and a case where the event has not yet occurred. Would you agree with that or disagree?
I absolutely agree. And I think that as the team of advisors who want to help in the pre-meeting, be prepared that when the client walks into the room and is feeling panic, right? What does this mean? They're basically feeling a little bit victimized because they've created this structure. They've relied on the laws at the time that they created the structure. And now they have to get their heads around the fact that we live in an evolving regulatory structure, and laws change, and now you're affected. So when you talk about what happens now, what happens later, my advice would be, when the client walks into the room, be prepared to answer this question. What is this going to do to my personal income taxes at the state level this year? Well, part of the reason we're sitting here today is to help the valued advisors that we work with, right, as trustees, to frame up the picture for their client. And so when they walk in and the conversation is, we've been waiting and structuring, and now in Q4, what I wanted to happen is not going to happen in terms of tax savings.
Right.
Then there's
what I wanted to happen is happening. I'm selling, but what's not happening is the tax savings.
Right. So number one, back to the same question, what does that mean in terms of dollars? What will it mean?
How bad is
At
it?
14%, what will that mean? That's one question. Give them that answer in some form of an estimate, right? That's number one, because there might be structuring in the deal that they want to consider. Maybe in that deal, they were pushing back and forth on whether they take some form of a stock interest, whether or not they stay with the company, whatever it might be. You might have a number that adjusts the terms of whatever acquisition they're staring at. That's number one. So they should feel free to look back at it and say, in terms of the number I'm now facing, do I want to rethink, if we're available to do so, do I want to rethink the deal? The other thing I would suggest, which may or may not work, but maybe it's worth pushing it. Maybe we don't deal with
the
this
next taxable year.
Maybe because due diligence is still going on, it makes sense to look at this in 24 and breathe in 23 a little bit more. Another point I would say is that if you have time to look at the structuring of the deal and you were relying on the NING concept, the ING concept, and didn't take the deepest dive you could in terms of California source income apportionment in that company, because you felt like there was enough of a relief from your tax structure. From a company standpoint, from a small company, private equity position, go look at it. Just make sure that you understand. If it's 100% California source income, then that's a different conversation than if you hadn't, for some reason, your advisors had not really looked at issues of source income. Because you might have some restructuring that now has a meaningful benefit to you because your top line equity is now subject to California state income taxes. I mean, those are just three thoughts. Do you push it? What do you look for in California source income? And is the deal still the deal that you want in light of the tax burden? Just open the conversation. Maybe you're going to continue just the way you are and you're going to take the hit, or maybe there's something smarter. And so when I say you look at it, I'm saying as advisors, as the financial advisor, as a trustee, get ready to empower them to answer those questions so that the CPA comes in, the attorney comes in, and we all say, we're not scratching everything, but let's refine our thinking.
That concludes our second installment. Thank you for joining us. As we move forward in this series, the third video will tackle a pivotal concept, the transition from the incomplete gift of the NING to a completed gift. It is a crucial segment you will want to listen to. See you in video 3. Please feel free to call us at 775-826-7900 and ask for our NING hotline, where Dunham Trust Company experts are prepared to help you answer your question on the California tax law changes and work with you on strategies for your clients with a NING.